With Falcon football coach Matt Walker. And Matt, the Falcons went on the road to number 5 ranked UW-Whitewater last weekend. Warhawks took a 35-0 win over the Falcons. Could you talk about that game a little bit?
It was an interesting one. I've been around some weird ones in my life. That was maybe the weirdest one I've been around. I think, we've all found ourselves on days and games where one side of the ball is lopsided versus the other on your production. It was one of the worst I'd seen in terms of our defense versus offensive production. Really, the score wasn't indicative of how well the defense played. I think every score came from a short field of less than 35 yards. We had some turnovers and some interesting things that just gave them a short field every time on their scores. Not to take anything away from them, because they played good and solid, but we really struggled offensively to get anything going. We've had a problem scoring points offensively the whole year, but turnovers hasn't been an issue for us. And then all of a sudden on Saturday it was a big problem, and then we lost a couple in the kicking game as well. Just could not get anything going. So I'm really proud of the defensive effort. Our kids on defense played their hearts out, and the kids offensively they didn't play hard. We had no execution, so that was a tough one. Again, every coach on the staff and everybody that's played this game, we've all been on both sides of that before, where one side is producing, the other one's struggling, and I've been on both sides of it. That's a hard thing to deal with, and I'm really proud of our kids right now. We're not pointing fingers. Guys are staying together, and we're going to figure this thing out offensively, and want our defense to keep their edge and attitude about them, and come out fighting next week and try to get this thing turned around.
I was just looking at the stats, Matt. You had 2 sacks, you had 9 tackles for loss, you recovered 3 fumbles. So again, the defense, showed up on Saturday.
Yeah, they're putting up some numbers and really giving ourselves a chance to win. If we just could play mediocre on the other side of the ball, because one thing we have done, I think I talked about it last week, we've played well in the kicking game, and this week we didn't win that phase either. But if you look at the stats overall, really both offensive numbers outside of turnovers are pretty similar. They didn't rack up a ton of yards because they were just on so many short fields. We put our defense in a bad situation all day.
Talking about the defensive player of the week was linebacker senior Lincoln Bjorklund. He had 5 solo tackles, 8 total tackles, one of those tackles for loss. Could you talk about Lincoln's play?
Well, he really had a good game, and on top of that, he had a big hit on the quarterback. He had a couple hurries, and just was flying around. It's like that whole linebacker core. It's draw a name out of a hat on who's going to be the player of the week for you on defense. I think all of them have kind of taken their turn there, and we're really blessed with 4 seniors and even some other guys that can rotate in at that linebacker spot. And in that 3-4 scheme, we ask them to do a lot and run around and make plays. And Lincoln definitely did that on Saturday. He really showed up, and along with a lot of other guys too. There's a bunch of names that you could mention there for that player of the week on defense.
Looking ahead, Matt, the Falcons will host UW-Stevens Point at Raymer Field on Saturday. 1 o'clock is the kickoff. What do you know about the Pointers?
Well, I know that they're having a tough year too in terms of wins and losses. They dropped to 1-4 again and lost a tough conference game against Stout, and I'm sure they're as anxious as we are to get back out there and play again and try to get the bad taste out of their mouth. And so we know we're going to get a great effort from them. They pose some problems offensively. They're going to spread you out more than we've been spread out all year. They get into some pass formations there where they really try to chuck it downfield a little bit, and some things where coming off some weeks where we really had some more run formation looks. This is one where they'll spread you out. They got a really good receiver, quarterback that, like I said, he's not afraid to take shots. We got to be real good at defending deep and stay solid and defending the run, but they do pose some problems for you formationally and things like that. Defensively, they're very solid. They have a scheme that they stick to and are very, very sound in what they're doing. So we got to play solid on offense, and we got to win. We got to get the edge to us in the kick game. We got to win the kick game. I think it's important. We know we're going to be in a battle every week in this league, and close games are won with the kicking game, I think, and so we got to win that phase again.
Matt, thanks for your time. Good luck to the Falcons. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.